What's up, you cyber hackers, you little neon ninjas? This is Nikki G from Better Commander coming at you with some Neon Dynasty hot takes. Listen, I don't have time to go over every single card. I got a full-time job and no one wants to watch that anyway. I play Commander and I'll be highlighting some cards that slot easily into some Commander decks and how I feel about them. Listen, I'm not an authority. I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I barely graduated the 7th grade because that's when I started playing Magic the Gathering. Alright, let's talk around the big old elephant in the room. This is the Boseiju Who Endures. Legendary land, tap, add green. Alright. Channel, 1 and a green. Discard Boseiju Who Endures. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. That player may search their library for a land card with a basic land type and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. My buddy Kevin called this the best removal spell ever printed, and I kind of agree. I think this might be a bit hyperbolic, but this level of versatility on a land is very pushed. I would say any deck running green could use an effect like this. It's printed at rare, and I can see this becoming a standard and commander staple very easily. Another person in my play group has a vehicles deck with Depala at the helm, and I can see a card like this taking a slot. Vehicles in general are pretty overcosted for what they do, but this is a little more aggressive. Surge Hacker Mech. This is an artifact vehicle, cost 4, has menace. When Surge Hacker Mech enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to twice the number of vehicles you control to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Crew 4, and it's a 5/5. This thing's pretty rad. I think vehicles really need to be built around to be effective, but this is a removal that also synergizes with vehicles, and it's kind of cool the Depala deck is getting some new toys. The Reality Chip is a really cool card. These newer artifact creature equipment cards are really cool. I can see some of them going into decks like Sir Gwyn and Dalekos. So the Reality Chip is 1 and a blue, legendary artifact creature, equipment, jellyfish. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. As long as the Reality Chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. Reconfigure for 2 and a blue. So reconfigure is you attach to target creature you control or unattach from a creature. Reconfigure only as a sorcery. While attached, this isn't a creature. Alright, the cool thing about these cards is that they seem to fall off and become creatures again if the creature gets destroyed or the board gets wiped or something like that. What you see a lot of times in equipment decks is the creature that all the equipment is stacked on gets removed and you're kind of out of a board state at that point. So these guys kind of remain on the board to be re-equipped and slap your opponent silly. I understand them to work this way. There might be some rules clarifications about these in the future as far as how equipment works and how they work when they're not a creature, but we'll wait and see when that happens. I think they would work with Sir Gwyn as they are equipment. Sir Gwyn basically says your equipment gain the ability Equip Knight 0. So they are equipment, so it would work in that sense. The rules around equipment and the reminder text for reconfigure reference attach or attached. So they both use the same language, reconfigure and equip. So I believe something that gave them an equip ability would function the same. I really like the card Lizard Blades. It's a 1/1 with double strike for 1 and a red. Artifact creature equipment lizard. It has reconfigure 2. Equipped creature has double strike. This seems to be the cheapest way to get double strike in an equipment form for your commander. Thousand Face Shadow for 1 blue. Creature human ninja. It's a 1/1. It also has ninjutsu 2 blue. Return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. Put this card onto the battlefield from your hand, tapped and attacking. It also has flying. Geez, pushed? I think so. When Thousand Face Shadow enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, create a token that's a copy of another attacking creature. The token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. So on its face, it's a 1/1 flying for blue. The ninjutsu ability really caught my eye and has similar wording to Runo Stromkirk's alter ego Crothus. This type of effect is always better the more you have, and a deck built around enter the battlefield, triggered abilities, or abilities that trigger on combat damage could always use more. I think if you are copying something small, which ninjas tend to be, then it may be more difficult to get the maximum bang for your buck. But in a Runo Stromkirk deck, and perhaps a Rumi of the Dead Tide, you can be copying larger creatures that would be more impactful. I think I'll be picking up a copy. I think this is really strong in the right decks, and if it's a bulk rare, I'll probably pick up 4 or 5 of them because I think this will be useful in a lot of decks. Jin Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant, 5 blue and a blue, legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. Okay. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn, and he's a 5/5. This seems like a very strong, expensive card. Cards like this demand immediate removal or countering, and if this is sitting in the command zone, you can bet you'll discover the hidden text on this thing, which says, "Kill me first." People sometimes scoff at cards like Duplicant, Overseer the Damned, Noxious Gear Hulk. These are all cards that I love because the entered the battlefield trigger can be re-triggered when flickered, copied, cast, or reanimated. I actually considered cutting Overseer of the Damned from my Runo deck, but it won me a game the other day, so it stays. I mean, I run regular removal, I run regular counter spells, but something like this can hit a Void Winnower, it can hit a card like Jin Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant, or whatever this thing is called, and you don't have to worry about it too much after that. Anyways, these are my hot take pancake easy bake cornflakes for this week. The set looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the aesthetic. It's not really my jam, the cyberpunk thing, but it's nice. It's nice looking. Looks like there's some powerful cards. People act like we haven't had mechs in Magic the Gathering before, but I mean, come on, man. Power armor, anybody? I mean, Urza made this thing way back in the Invasion days, so. Anyways, this is going to be Nicky G signing off. I hope you guys enjoy your week and don't take things too seriously.